Well, let me first tell you a little bit about our drive. And when I'm talking about our drive, I'm thinking about all the researchers involved in this program, professors, associate professors, assistant professors, PhD students, all contribute to this program. What we want to do is we want to improve health for all people with very innovative and high quality research, epidemiological research. And our researchers, of course, have from different disciplines, and they have different backgrounds, and they work on different health challenges. Within CPE, we focus address those health challenges. You can, for example, think of health challenges like the increase of mental health problems among youth, or what you also can think about is the worldwide epidemic of obesity, health inequalities in our society, for example, health inequalities in different countries. But what you also see in society is the enormous increase in chronic diseases like cancer, health, heart disease, or diabetes. So if we think about health challenges in our society, we can think a little bit with a little bit of fantasy. We can think about it as unsolved mysteries. What we need is researchers like the modern day Sherlock Holmes of science who are really able to unravel those health challenges and address those health challenges. But let me start with the picture of the Sherlock Holmes of science, the modern day Sherlock Holmes of science we need. What we need are researchers who are really able to unravel and to address those health challenges from different perspectives, find the hidden causes, and create more effective solutions. In CPE, you learn to unravel these complex challenges, and you will also learn how to contribute to better solutions. And based on our experience, we know that there is a high demand of our graduates who are well trained. One of our unique characteristics of CPE is that we are an interdisciplinary program. Interdisciplinary means that you will learn from different disciplines like public health, psychology, medicine, sociology, economics, in order to be able to unravel those health challenges from different perspectives. If you look to this slide, you see on the left part biological and psychological factors we address in this program. On the right side, you see the social and more environmental factors we will address in this program. This interdisciplinary research will contribute to more innovative solutions and will also generate novel insights. And I think that's very important to really have progress related to those health challenges. In CPE, you learn to unravel those influences, but of course, this epidemiological research we are doing can be compared with a very complex puzzle. And I know from experience that some students think, well, is this research master a good fit for me? Because they might be uncertain if it's too difficult. Well, what I'm very pleased of is that our students report that this research master is challenging, but that also students feel that the support is enough to overcome these challenges. And I'm very pleased with this feedback from students because we find it essential that you are able to learn and grow in a very stimulating and supportive environment. But how will your learning journey look like in this program? Well, one of the special elements of this program is that you will build up your knowledge and skills by a very stepwise thematic approach. In the first block of 10 weeks, you will explore the health-related challenges in society. In the second block of 10 weeks, we will address those challenges in more detail, in more depth. We will focus on the pathways to health and disease, and you will learn to assess and explain differences in health. And then we move on. We go to more the actions, the solutions. You will learn how to develop and evaluate interventions, and not easy interventions, but also those more complex interventions targeted at different target groups and, for example, patients and healthcare professionals, but also having different strategies. And at the end of the first year, it's your turn. You will design your own new research. I understand that you want to know more about the courses in this program. All the courses in each block contribute to the team. They are here listed, and I hope you can read the information on your screen. These courses have been recently renewed, and that means that we will have some new courses with new descriptions. Unfortunately, the system of the university didn't allow us yet to provide the detailed descriptions in the system in the website. So soon, I expect in December or in January, we will have the detailed descriptions of the program you will experience. A lot of masters have a similar courses. What makes us unique is that we provide you with the courses to build up your knowledge and skills, but we will also provide you with real life learning experiences, because we want to ensure that you have those practical experiences as a researcher and prepare you well on your future career. This project-based learning, in those courses, we always start with a challenging problem or question, and policymakers, healthcare professionals, patients, and other experts play a role in those project-based learning. So problems, for example, from a public health institution or a ministry, those are the starting point of the project-based learning. We are sure that in this program you will develop your research skills very well. However, we also know that for research there is more needed to have a successful research and to achieve impact with your research. And therefore, we also address in this program your professional skills. We will train you to improve your leadership skills, collaboration, and creative problem-solving skills. And this is important for research, but a lot of jobs also require similar skills. So those skills can be translated to other type of jobs you might continue with. Well, this was an overview of the first year. In the second year, you will apply all your skills and knowledge of the first year. And you have achieved a lot in the first year. You have thought about the bigger picture, and you are able to think about a bigger picture related to the health challenges. You are able to develop your own ideas for research. You can decide about the designs of studies, and you are able to deal with research data. Quite a lot of achievements. And after the summer holidays, well-deserved summer holiday, you will conduct your own research. And of course, you will also able to do additional courses like electives. At the end of the year 2, we hope that you have achieved a level of becoming an independent and successful researcher. All our students, most of our students succeed in finishing the research master in 2 years. And when I think about the learning journey of all the students, I think they all are independent researchers for the next steps in their career. In this second year, what we should realize, what you should realize, is that you have worked with very innovative and high quality data offered by the UMCG. UMCG has been described as a health data valley, and that's because we are considered to have a leading position in Europe when we think about our very special data with from large longitudinal studies such as lifelines and trails. Well, thinking about the learning journey of our students, I'm very pleased to see that all students have conducted meaningful and relevant research, and their research also contributes. They have impact with their research. I am very pleased to see that insights from research of our students helps to improve prevention and also to reduce the toll, for example, of chronic diseases. A few examples. For example, Matheus, he is also here in this meeting, have showed that his research about chronic kidney disease, that his epidemiological research helped to develop new interventions for the healthcare professionals and patients. But he also recently showed that his research really did lead to an intervention that was effective. It improved health outcomes and it reduced costs. And that's, of course, very important impact. His research will contribute to better healthcare. Improving healthcare for patients is, of course, very important. Another example, Carl Peter from Erpicum, he studied the living environment in relation to overweight and obesity. And he showed that fast food restaurants within 1 kilometer were one of the explanations of the increase in overweight and obesity. And this is a very important finding for policymakers, because based on those findings, they know better and in more detail why it's so important to improve our living environment to tackle the obesity epidemic. Well, in this short presentation, I provided you with the main characteristics of this program. I talked about the interdisciplinary innovative program, and this is for us important because we really want to offer you a rich learning environment. We also showed you that this program has a stepwise thematic approach with a strong focus on skill development, because we want not only to make sure that you have your master's degree, but that you are also very well prepared for different types of jobs. We also explained that you will do cutting-edge research in the UMCG, given the wonderful opportunities the UMCG offers. A unique characteristic is also that we work with small international cohorts, and that, of course, adds to your learning experience. What we also have as a unique point is that you are able to follow your own path. Hanneke Wigman will tell more about it, but this is related to the freedom of making choices within the courses, within the project-based learning, but also choosing your own track within the research master, the health system and prevention track, or the Lifecourse Health Development track. The UMCG also offers opportunities to continue with a PhD for the most talented students. And a lot of students in previous years have followed their career within the UMCG. And finally, for students who are interested, we also facilitate you are able to register as an epidemiologist A if you want to do so. Well, this was my overview. I hope that this helps you already to find out whether CPE fits to your drive, your interest, and your preferences. But I think it's time to also learn more from our students. Our students, Julia and Ekram, will tell more about their experiences and their stories. Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning.
The next slide again. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to tell a little bit about our experience in CPE. We're current second-year students. My name is Julia. I'm 22 and I'm originally from Spain. I've already studied here at the University of Groningen. I graduated with a health and life sciences degree, and now I'm doing CPE, specifically health systems and prevention track.
Yeah, and I'm Ekram. I'm from Ethiopia. I did medicine and worked as a general practitioner for 2 years in Ethiopia until I moved here to Groningen to do my master's. And I'm on the track of CPE. Hanneke will tell you more in detail about this, but it's going to be LHD for you guys. But we're going to tell you our experiences as different tracks, basically.
So we thought we'd share a little bit about what made us choose CPE and why we decided to be here. At least for me, I was never sure whether research in academia would be something I was interested in. I really wanted to explore what it would mean to be part of academia and do research. So the fact that it was a research master and I had this possibility was really important to me. Also, the fact that the track of health systems and prevention existed was really interesting because that's a very big interest of mine, and I think it was also a very good option to later find good job opportunities outside research if maybe that was not what I liked at the end, seeing that they also very much give the possibility to learn about very good skills that you can implement outside academia as well.
And besides that, I think the fact that it was interdisciplinary was very important to me. And so on the CPE website, you can find a lot of information about the different disciplines that are involved in CPE. So I liked that a lot. And the fact that it was also a very small cohort because I attended a school with a lot of students. So that was also a very interesting point. And the fact it's also in a very international cohort. And as a person from another country, it was also very interesting for me to know other people. And also the PhD possibility because I really like research, and the fact that I could actually continue to PhD was also one of the factors that that helped me to actually decide on this program.
So how did we get here? We want to talk a little bit about our experience doing the selection process. So the first thing was just to send your CV and a motivation letter. I think at this point we've all had to write one, so I don't think it's too much of a drama and it's nothing to be scared of. The next thing was the statistics exam. I do think that's something that I personally freaked out about. I was really nervous about it, but now looking back a perspective of a year and a half ago, I do not think it's anything anyone needs to be scared of. It's a very simple online test, and CPE will send you videos of actual teachers that will teach you statistics and also online modules and will very much help you prepare for this exam. So I don't think it's anything anyone should be afraid of. It's just part of the process and it's really simple to do.
Yes, and then after you pass the interview, which you all will do probably, you're going to have an interview, and the interview is just with two senior researchers, and it's a very easy and a very chill process. It's basically telling them what kind of research you're doing, or maybe you've already done that research, so you're just going to tell them a little bit about that, but the main focus is going to be on your motivation to join the program. So why did you choose the university? Why did you choose the program? And what do you really want to do with this research master? So I think if you're really interested in the program, then it's going to be a very chill and a very easy procedure for you guys.
And moving on, we wanted to give also a perspective on year one and year two within CPE. Year one, you'll do your foundation courses. In my case, for my track, I had health systems and prevention 1 and 2. This was one of my favorite subjects, if not my favorite subjects. We got to learn a lot about policy making, about also creating our own health briefs for policymakers, and also a lot about being able to compare countries and health systems. So this was something that I really enjoyed. I think a big characteristic is that usually classes last 3 weeks. And within 3 weeks, you will have finished an entire class and then started another one. Other examples are statistics or study design. In general, just very good classes that will help you understand what research is and what kind of research you can do and how it's conducted.
It's also basically similar for us, but we do have other specific courses for our track. But I think the whole point of the story is for you guys to actually come up with your own research, to be independent and actually do a research in the field that you really want. So you also are introduced to different departments in these courses, in these foundation courses, where you get to meet some of the teachers and also know what kind of research is actually being done at the department. So even if you don't really know what you want to do with your master thesis or whatever that you guys are interested in. You can find out about this department in each lectures, and most of the assignments are actually presentations. They're usually focused on developing your skills of presentations, and by like within one course, I think you do at least one presentation. It's a very good thing. It actually really helps you to develop your presentation skills as well. And in year two, I think the main focus is going to be on your master thesis project, but you can also do electives, mostly electives that really help you with your research, but also some of the research that you really just are interested in, and you can just choose your own electives. And we also have one unique group for our master program, I think the coaching groups. I think.
So for year one and year two, from the beginning, your cohort will be divided into groups, and then you have coaching groups. The person that leads them is a supervisor, but usually they don't have anything to do with your thesis project. And at least for mine, I've never seen them in class. So it's a really nice group with a lot of your own people. And it's very nice for support, to be able to practice, to be able to talk about things that may stress you, and just, I think it's just a support system because everyone is going through the same, but you also have a researcher that can give their professional point of view, and it's just a place where you can confide and you can really get the most out of the experience that CPE offers. And you also have student mentors. So your first year, you'll be introduced to some second years, and you'll have them there to also answer a lot of questions, which is really interesting. At least for us, we had them in our WhatsApp group, and it was always really nice that they got to answer and give their perspective as well. And next, your actual thesis. So I think something that CPE offers, which really, at least I really enjoyed, was that they give you a booklet with all the supervisors that are available and very, very different projects that you can choose from. The point is that you're choosing the supervisor, you're choosing your project, they're not choosing you. So you can do as many interviews with the supervisors and projects as you want, and you can basically do anything and everything. So it really depends on what your criteria is for yourself. So for me, I really wanted a very set up project. I wanted a supervisor that could be there and would have a lot of time for me. And I wanted it to be able to give me a lot of tools instead, in case I didn't want to be in academia, that I would also have tools that are very useful outside academia. So it's very, very broad, but it's also very nice that you can do anything you want with it.
Yeah. And I think I had like the different experience with this because I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to do something related to clinical epidemiology. So like the binder that the CPE gives you really helps a lot with that. So you just go through them, you see the supervisors, you also see the kind of research that they do, your secondary and primary supervisors, the way that you can contact them, and also kind of like the title or the topic that they're thinking that they have for you. So I wanted like an open research where I can really come up with the research question myself, and everything. So I got into that kind of project, and I'm really enjoying the process. I think of discovering, working with the different database that Andrea also has mentioned, the big databases. So that's also that was also actually very nice. This is us presenting the master thesis proposal, I think. Yeah.
And lastly, just so no one thinks this is all just about challenging yourself and not having any fun, this is some photos of our cohort. We usually, at least first year, we're around the same hours all the time. So we usually try to have lunch all together at the UMCG canteen. We celebrate birthdays at the study landscape, which is a room just for your, basically for your master's, and another one, which is here at UMCG. It's just a very nice way of meeting a lot of international people, not just learning practical skills, but also learning about all the cultures and how to communicate, and just very diverse and very interesting. I think I've had a lot of fun with our cohort so far.
The very small cohort really helps you to actually not just find classmates, but also just have really some close friends. And we can also study together for an exam, just have lunch with also the program directors every year, I think, right? Every start of the year. So it's a very like fun program. And I think you guys will enjoy if you join us, but also make sure to join us for the meet and greet on December. That would be really great. You'll hear more about our projects and just like everything on our like perspective. You'll have more time with us, and also make sure to contact us if you have any.
Yeah, feel free to contact us if you have any questions. And for now, this is all from our side. So enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, I think it's my turn now to take over, but first let me thank Julia and Ekram for this wonderful story. And after this really nice slide with lots of fun pictures, I'm going to move on a little bit more to the kind of boring side, perhaps. Let me see if I can get the pictures to work. Yes, there we go. I can move them. So, as is already mentioned by Andrea and by Julia and Ekram, our CPE program has 2 tracks that allow you to follow your own path in your learning journey. And I will tell you a little bit more today about these 2 tracks. So let me move. Yeah, here we go. So they've been mentioned already several times, but I'll explain them a little bit more in detail here. So we have the 2 tracks, and one of the tracks is called HSP, so Health Systems and Prevention, and the other track is called Lifecourse Health Development, or LHD. The coordinator of the HSP track is Sandra Brouwer, who is already also here in the chat, so available for questions if you have some later on. And the coordinator of the Lifecourse Health Development track is me. So in the HSP track, you will learn how health systems influence prevention and health outcomes at the population level. And this track really specifically combines interdisciplinary research with practical policy questions. And this track is also unique because it has an internship where the students can collaborate with international or national societal partners, such as the Ministry of Health, health insurances, social security services, lots of S's, or the municipal health services, to really put their research into practice. And questions of interest in this track are, for example, the cost effectiveness of interventions or the uptake and the effect of new healthcare policies. So it's really about the translation of research to practice. The other track, the LHD track, is really mostly focused on clinical health. So here you will learn to unravel the many factors that influence mental and physical health. And of course, there are many psychological, biological, sociological factors. And these factors not only influence one another, but they also vary and evolve over time. And that is why the life course perspective is so central in this track. You will investigate in depth how health interacts with factors of risk, but also factors of resilience, and how these processes depend on age and on stage of illness. For example, people who are at risk for illness will have different needs and challenges than people who already have developed chronic illness. And examples of research questions that are addressed in this track are, for example, the mechanisms that underlie fatigue in cancer survivors and how to battle this fatigue, of course, or how the genetic disposition of patients with schizophrenia may predict poor or better outcome on the long term. So let me move. Yeah, so these 2 tracks, of course, are taking a slightly different approach to studying health, but they are also complementary, and that is also reflected in the curriculum. 60%, as you can see here, 60% of our curriculum is shared between the 2 tracks. So that means that students of both tracks follow these courses. So these are, for example, measuring concepts, statistics, the more core courses of the curriculum. And then 40% of the curriculum is track specific. And that means that you have a track-specific course, for example, the HSP 1 and 2 courses that Julia already mentioned, but also, very importantly, of course, your electives, which are the courses that you are free to choose that are supporting you mostly in your learning journey, and of course, as the summum, your master thesis project. Like Julia and Ekram already described, this is really an individual process where you pick the project that really resonates with you, that interests you, and that you want to work on for almost 1.5 years, I think. So these 3 elements together that are track specific will really help you to choose your own path. So you may be wondering if your bachelor is a right fit for our research master. And at that point, it may be good to know that we have a very, very diverse population of students. Our students come from many backgrounds, for example, psychology, medicine, health sciences, health economics, movement sciences. So just out of curiosity, could you perhaps all put in the room chat your background? Because we are, of course, always curious where our students come from, or even our potential students come from. So could I ask you to take a few seconds and put your bachelor's in the chat? Biomedical sciences here. Yeah, that's also on the slide. So we got that one. Clinical medicine, pharmacy, bewegingswetenschap, so movement sciences. MBRT. I'm not sure what that is. Public health, psychology. See, we already have this very diverse group here as well. Biology. Cool. Okay, so it's actually a good reflection of the of our student population. So that's very nice to see. And well, many of these backgrounds, of course, slightly differ in how much knowledge they already have. But we specifically aim that at the beginning of the program, everyone gets up to the same level. So that everyone has the same starting point, while at the same time bringing their own specific background. A little bit more about the application procedure that was already also discussed by Julia and Ekram, of course. So the application starts with sending in your CV and your motivation letter. And here, of course, you really focus on your drive to do this research master and to come to Groningen. Then you have the entrance exam on statistics. Like Julia already said, don't freak out too much about it. You get well prepared from CPE. You get instructions on how to prepare and what you will be asked for. But it's just a step to take, but no need to really worry about it too much. Then you'll get to the interview stage, where you indeed will speak with several senior researchers of our master program. And here we are really looking to get to know these potential students. So it's not about your grades or how well you did, but it's really about finding out why you want to do this research master, what is your motivation, what is your drive and your passion for research. And then after you hear your results, and hopefully you'll get admitted, of course, you can start in the academic year in September. We'll have more room for practical questions about the application procedure at the end, and also more details if you are very interested in these, of course. So what happens after the master's? That if you successfully finish it, what can you do then with our master's? Well, most of our students actually graduate within the 2 years of the master, so that's already a really good sign. But the most important measure of success is, for us at least, that you are really an independent researcher that is ready to tackle the complex health problems in our society. And one of the being one of the teachers in this master's, I can also really tell you that it's wonderful, one of the most wonderful things to see our students grow from these newbies at the beginning of the master's and then into confident and very skilled researchers after 2 years. So yeah, that's an amazing journey also to witness from a teacher perspective. And as you can see here, our students end up in many different kinds of jobs and positions. Around 60% of our students end up with moving on to a PhD position, whether in the UMCG or somewhere else. And many of our students already have secured a PhD position by the time they graduate. But that is, of course, not the only option. People can also move on to being a medical writer or a statistical advisor, policy advisor, health consultants, laboratory workers, or some people go back to their clinical work, being a psychologist or a doctor, for example. And these kind of jobs can be found anywhere around the world. So in different types of settings, different types of companies, organizations, or institutes, people can be found. Yeah, so it's actually quite, your career options are quite wide and quite broad. And I think the best way of getting a bit of a better understanding of what can happen after CPE is by listening to the story of two of our alumni who can tell you about their career path, where they are now, and how CPE has contributed to their career so far. So I would like to hand over the talking stick to Matheus and Marit. And thank you for your attention for this part.
Thank you, Hanneke.
Hello.
So now it's up to us. I will briefly introduce myself first. My name is Marit. I just graduated from the Health Systems and Prevention track before summer. And I just started a PhD position in the UMCG with the same supervisors as I worked for my master thesis on, but on another project. And before I started the Health Systems and Prevention track, I took a bachelor's in health policy and management.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Matheus. I finished the CPE in 2018. I come from Brazil originally. There I studied medicine, and I also followed the specialization to become an internist. After the CPE, I moved on to a PhD in the same department, and I'm finishing it this year. And I also just started as a teacher at the medical faculty here at the UMCG. So good. Should I go on, Marit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Now we have. Oh, am I? Yes. Great. So we're gonna talk to you a little bit about like yeah, what happens after, because well, the coordinators of the course already talked a little bit about like where you're gonna find the students, about like how much you learn and how fun it is. But they wanted us to tell you a little bit about like, okay, like during the masters, it's very nice and very cool, but is it useful afterwards? And the answer is yes. And one of the reasons why I think this is what we learned during CPE it's so useful is because you learn a lot about transferable of soft skills. Andrea talked a little bit about this, but these are the skills that you can actually use in any kind of job. So she mentioned something like clinical reasoning and being critical and analyzing big data sets, managing your own projects. And this is quite interesting to develop all of this during the masters, because when Andrea said that you become an independent researcher, I would even say that you're independent thinker. It's not only applicable to the field that you chose to do your master thesis on. So actually, if you want to move to other fields in research, or if you want to move to other jobs, everything that you learn can be quite useful. So actually, the master's prepares you to be an independent professional after all. And what's very nice about the work we do is that the work we do is quite applied to real problems, and that's also why we are so able to be flexible and be able to apply everything that we learn in such a different contexts. And then we had some pictures here. For example, on the top left, it's one of my assignments, for example, for basics in psychology, in which we're actually studying behaviors of people in natural situations. So then we went to a restaurant and we observing people and making assignments. But then when you go to the top right, you also have like many other activities that we have in the classroom. We have applied things with statistics. So it makes it very dynamic and interesting and very applied to things that we can actually use in your real life. And then we also, well, that was not my case, but then Marit has an example of internships, like in the the track she followed.
Yeah, so taking the application of the knowledge from the classroom a bit further, in the health systems and prevention track, you get to combine your master thesis project with an internship at a non-academic organization. So in my case, I was doing my internship at the municipal health services in Drenthe, so GGD Drenthe. And over there, I learned about their perspectives on health, how to work with different large data sets, and how they use all the data that is collected in finding answers to their policy struggles. And within my master thesis, I was working with data sets from Lifelines and from Statistics Netherlands, so also large data sets. And I was using a scientific perspective in making that into a nice thesis, but it was also really interesting to see how policymakers use all this data, and to make sure that the findings that I obtained within my thesis can also be translated into something that is relevant for policymakers. So we don't all speak the same language, and within the health systems and prevention track, you are really trained to make sure that you translate your findings into such a way that policymakers or non-academic individuals can also understand it and use those findings. So that was really something that was valuable to me to learn.
Yeah.
And also within the health systems and prevention track, and actually the entire CPE program, there's a lot of room to discover whether you want to stay within academia or move to a non-academic organization. And there are many opportunities and electives to develop yourself into either one of the fields.
Yeah, yeah, and for like going on what you just said, I brought like the picture of my cohort, which is like in the middle bottom there. And here we can see like, well, I know that the people after CP, they did a lot of different things. So for example, I finished it, I did a PhD, and now I'm working as a teacher, but my next plan is to work with Doctors Without Borders, both as a clinician and as an epidemiologist, because I also follow the epidemiology possibility related to the CPE, but I have colleagues that went also at the GGD, like Marit right now, but people that went to work as a clinical psychologist, they went into consultancy here in the Netherlands, in America, people going back to Thailand. So they're like, you get prepared to do a lot of different things in a lot of different parts of the world. So this way makes you quite well prepared and quite flexible to choose whatever you want to do in your future. Then moving on, one thing that I wanted to reinforce, and that I talked a little bit about this already, is that in the CPE, you really learn step by step. I didn't have a lot of experience with research before coming here, so I kind of doubted myself if I was more capable of doing it. But what I really like about CPE is that they never just like threw you into fire for you to do things by yourself. They kept challenging you, but they always gave you an example, gave you some kind of, for example, with statistics, which I didn't have a lot of experience before. They actually give you a statistical course, and then you do statistics. If you need to do a project, you first get some kind of formation about it, and then under supervision, you go and do it until the point you get independent. But it's not that they like, there's a lot of support. That's what I'm trying to say. And then you go all the way to your proposal. Then it's the example of Marit.
Yeah, so on the picture on the top left, you see me presenting my master thesis proposal. And at first, same as Matheus mentioned, I was a bit unsure whether I was skilled enough to work on a big research project by myself. But the support of your supervisors is really helpful at the beginning of your project. There's a lot of room to brainstorm with them, and at first they maybe help you think of some aspects you haven't thought about yourself. But then later on, once you are working on the thesis itself, you are developing your own ideas, and you are reading literature and finding out that the idea or the approach you thought of is really a good approach, and then you're trying to sell that to your supervisor. So you are becoming more in the lead yourself, and you're not that aware of that process once you're in the middle of it. But looking back on it afterwards, it was a really steep learning curve, and that was really inspiring. And this collaboration with your supervisors also helped me to decide on my career afterwards, because not only is the CPE program perfect for becoming a good researcher, but also a really safe space to discover what you want in your next step. You don't need to know that once you enroll for the program, but you get to develop your ambitions whilst you're in the middle of it. And I was actually in a really strong split between whether I wanted to stay in academia, so pursue a PhD position, or work outside of academia. And my coach group was a really safe space to discuss that. And also my thesis supervisors were really helpful to balance all the pros and cons. So we discussed what I had learned so far, what I wanted to learn in the next step in my career, and what would be the best option next. And no one is pushing you in either one of the directions. It's totally up to you. But yeah, it was really nice to discuss such things with senior researchers who are really there to support you every step along the way.
Yeah, and Marit said something very interesting about like not realizing how much you have improved, because I think because it's the support is so good and it's step by step, it goes in a quite natural way. But I had some experiences as well in which like for me, it was mostly when I was introduced in other contexts with new people that I realized that I actually knew much more than I thought I did. Like on the picture there, you have the other two pictures on the slide. It's about my new job now as a teacher. And well, I use all the soft skills in many different, because I became quite flexible. So I have all different kinds of activities, from classroom until virtual reality simulations of patients and everything. But one thing that's very interesting is that, like, when I'm there, sometimes I'm like just thinking out of the box and think, oh, why are we doing this? Why are we not doing that? And people are like, oh, we never thought about this. And this is quite new. And this is just my normal way of thinking now. And it has a lot to do with how I learned in the CPE. Also, when I first started my PhD, there's a mandatory course, at least here in the UMCG, which is called Managing Your PhD, where you get together to learn how to manage a project and how to deal with like a lot of projects going on at the same time, and being able to work in a group and as a part of a team. And what I realized starting a PhD is that like I didn't have the same struggles that most of the people in my group had, because I had already like or solved or worked with or being like gone like overcome them during my my master's. But only when I got to the PhD I realized how much I had learned during the master's, because when compared to the other people who did not follow the master I did, I noticed that I was well, quite a step higher, which made my life a lot easier, to be very honest. Yeah, and then like well, Ekram and Julia already talked a little bit about this, but Marit and I thought it's in any case very important to reinforce that we learned a lot, and now, well, as professionals, we think, well, we learn a lot. It's very good. It makes our life a lot easier. But when we think about the CPE, what remains the most is like all the nice experience we had together, and being able to be part of an international community, and not only being there in the classroom, but we actually like work as a group. The CPE also has like a lot of focus on internationalization and on international aspects and how they can be useful in your life. It's a lot. You learn a lot, and considering that the world is every day more internationalized, that well, at least from here our experience in Groningen and UMCG, this happens a lot, and it's important to know about different cultures and how different people work, to be able to work in a team in an effective and respectful way. It's very valuable that you actually get to experience it yourself for 2 years, and actually not only read about how this happens, but to actually live it.
And all these different cultural and educational backgrounds also make that we can develop into such an independent researcher. So if you are still in doubt whether you are skilled enough for this program, I think the most important thing in this program is that you are really motivated to contribute to better health for people. So if that's your main driving factor, then I would say apply and write a stunning motivation letter and see where it brings you. And it would be really cool to see another cohort that is that diverse as like many other cohorts before us and the cohorts that came after us. So yeah, if you're curious to hear more in detail, feel free to get in touch. But this was our
and just
contribution.
one last thing, because Ekram talked about this, and I had this as well. When I started CPE, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I thought the theme was very interesting. I liked the idea of it, but like I didn't know which topic I specifically wanted to follow. I didn't have a lot of experience with research, so for me it was not very clear. And I think one important thing for you to know is that this is not important at this moment, because once you get there, you get a lot of information, you get a lot of help, and they help you to understand, based on your preferences and your qualities, what you would like to do. So if you do not know for sure a specific topic you want to work with right now, there's no problem. You can come in broader, and then there, with all the courses and help of supervisors and other members of CPE, this will become clear. And well, I'm pretty sure that if you come to Fuji, you're going to have a great experience, both personally and academically. And I think, you have anything else to say, Marit?
No, I think that's it. I think
No?
it's time to hand it over to Meike.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, guys, for your great presentation, and all of the other speakers here today present. My name is Meike van der Veen, and I'm the program manager of the CPE Master Program. When you apply, you will be hearing and seeing a lot of me, so it's good to know my face. Also, I would like to introduce you shortly to Floor Veldhuis. She's our study advisor. She's also present here today. So let me put on the next slide, because for all questions that you may have, you want to contact us, please feel free to send us an email at cpe@umcg.nl. Contact us via WhatsApp. Floor Veldhuis, our study advisor, is behind this WhatsApp number. So feel free, if you have any questions, to contact us. I think what the students also just mentioned, we are a very personal, close-knit group. We know all of our students. We can put you in contact with students. So please use that opportunity for us. And also we have the meet and greet coming up on December 6th, where you can speak to our students. So feel free also to join there. But for now, I'd just like to hear if there are any questions for us, any of our speakers about anything. Either open up your mic or put it in the room chat. All is fine.
Actually, Meike, could I have one more minute? Because I realized that when Matheus was talking about the program leaders thinking along with the students, I think it's good to also be aware that even when choosing one of the two tracks, we can help you with deciding which is the best option for you. Because of course you have to choose one of the tracks, but Floor will be available to discuss with you what might be the best option if you're not so sure which one to take. And you can even switch between the tracks in the first block, because you will only start with the track-specific courses in the second block. So even if you, in the end, you start and you realize, oh, I'm actually more gravitating towards the other one, there is the possibility to switch. So that's also a decision that you can make in discussion with us. Just wanted to add that, Meike, sorry.
Yeah, that's a really good addition. Thanks, Hanneke. I don't see anything popping up in the chat. Michelle is asking a question. Would it be possible to combine this master degree with a biomedical sciences master that started this year and then finishing it in 3 years total? Oh, that's a good, interesting question. I think that's not a really clear answer I can give you now, but what would be good that you be in contact with Floor to see what the possibilities are. Yeah, I think it would be a difficult one, but let's get in touch to discuss this in more detail. I think that would be best. What if, another question. Floor put her email address here as well, so please contact her. What if I haven't finished the research project, what can I present during the interview? That's a really good question that we hear a lot of the times already. Maybe Marit, you can also reply what your experiences were, and I think a lot of students run into this, so it would be good to clarify.
Sure.
Yeah.
So in my case, I had already finalized my research project, but in other cases, you can also just present something, for example, the proposal of your bachelor thesis, if you're already working on that, or maybe you've done a smaller research project for a course in your second year that you can present. It's just to briefly show them that you can concisely present your project work and have a small discussion about it afterwards. And I think the interview was mainly focused on your motivation and to explain a bit further why you are interested in one of the tracks, if you've already decided on it, or discover a bit what might suit better. So it was a really open and relaxed ambience, and I wouldn't be too stressed about the presentation of your research project. It's just, I think, a nice first step into the fact that you need to present several aspects of your research projects throughout the entire program.
Yes, thank you, Marit. I hope that this clarifies your question. So in addition, wrapping up that it's not really necessary that you finished it or some students haven't even started their bachelor thesis. So what we would really like to hear from you is what your experiences are, even if that's really small, but that you know what the project was about and a little bit about what it entails to do research and your motivation why you would like to start this master program. Shana, after applying, how soon can we expect to hear back about if we have been accepted? That's a good question. So after each deadline, our admission board will review all of the applications. So after January 16th, out of my head, the first deadline is, and then thereafter the admission board will look at all of the applications. So that also depends how soon you will apply. And then after about 2 weeks, you will hear whether you will be invited for an interview and for the exam on your statistical knowledge. And then you will get a lot of information from us. You will get a lot of information to prepare also for this exam. Here's the slide as well. Thank you, Manu. And thereafter you will hear our results and you will be invited for the interview. You will get a lot of information about what the interview entails, how long it will be. So we will guide you along the way. But the results, after each step you will hear more about the next steps and the results and when you will hear from us. So we will be in close contact once you apply. I hope that answers. Okay, good. I'm a sociology graduate and have only a couple of undergraduate classes in math statistics. Will this affect the admission decision? No, I don't think so. But the only thing is that you might have to prepare a little bit more than students that have more in-depth knowledge on statistics, but you will get a lot of information from us, YouTube videos to practice with, questions that you can practice with. No, it will not directly affect it, but you will, of course, for a research master program, it's important that you have a lot of good statistical background to be able to participate in this program. But I think as a sociology students, we have had more students from sociology before. I also see Marit nodding, and those students did not really have a very difficult time in preparing for the exam or with the statistical courses. So I think you should be well equipped for this master program. But if you have more personal related questions or you would like to get more information or I would like to prepare even better and to see if there are any courses that you can still take before you apply, then also please contact us, contact Floor, so that we can also help you in that to prepare well. You're welcome. Nora, I study psychology and don't know much about biology, since you also learn about biological factors during the courses. Would this be a problem? No, so that's a really good question. No, because in the beginning we have various courses depending on students' backgrounds to be able to provide you all of the information necessary to continue with the master program. So we have courses that for students with a psychology background that are more medical related. And students with a more medical background that are more psychology related. So during the first weeks of the program, you will all get a basic knowledge of all various aspects that you will need to continue with the master program. So that is definitely not a problem, Nora, for you. Maybe if someone wants to add me or give additional information once my colleagues here, then please do. But Nora, that's no. Psychology students, well, we have welcomed them, a lot of them before, and that should be really doable. You're welcome. Any other questions? Otherwise, you have our contact details, you have Floor's contact details. Indeed, thank you, Floor. feel free to contact us. We have another question. If my research topic is not about public health or epidemiology, would that be a problem in the interview? No, definitely not. No. Marit, maybe you...
Yeah, I think there are so many different backgrounds in our program, and it's also during the interview really interesting to hear about your research experience in a totally different field, and yeah, how you can summarize that and reflect a bit on it. So yeah, just share any research you have done, and we are very curious to hear more about that.
Yes, thank you, Marit. Yeah, and indeed, and we have students from various backgrounds. Well, we showed that already. It's also visible here in the room chat if we look at the various backgrounds of students, and that's really interesting during the program. Not only our teachers come from various backgrounds, various departments, it's very interdisciplinary, but also that's also reflecting in our student cohort. And that is actually something that we really value and like a lot. So. No, not a problem at all.
Perhaps one addition, Meike.
Yeah.
I think what we see in the program is that people have different backgrounds. Some students continue with those interests, and for example, I know from the past that somebody with a background in dentistry, which is also perhaps not mentioned in the slides, was really interested in the relationship with dental health and other health issues, and this student also continued within the program with this interest and developed even this topic in more detail. So, but what we also see is that also people start with an interest, for example, in psychology, and discover that they are really intrigued by unraveling the genetic vulnerability in relationship with other individual factors. So some people continue with their interest, and often that is also possible, but also some students develop new interests and broaden their scope. So both is possible, I think.
Good addition. Thank you, Andrea. I see another question. What kind of companies and organizations do HSP students intern at? Maybe Sandra, you are here. Sandra, our track coordinator of the HSP track. Maybe you can answer this question.
Yes, definitely. Hi, everyone. Yeah, there's also many examples of this kind of organizations. What first is really important that they are focusing on health and on healthcare and prevention. It can be at municipality level, healthcare organizations, insurance companies, also working at the Ministry of Health or Social Welfare. It can be here in the Netherlands, but also abroad. So also working at NGOs, or also some students are going abroad and are involved in a WHO organization related companies, etc. So it's really diverse, but what is really important aspect of the internship organizations, that there is already a link, or that we really link the research to this organization. So we really would like to hear what kind of problems they have and how we or the student can help with doing research to solve a problem, or at least to add some new knowledge. And also, as already mentioned, also that working together through the whole process, so also how at the end you will transfer the results into their practice. So that's really important. And so it's not that the internship is separate from the master thesis project. It's really aligned.
Yeah, that's a really good addition, Sandra. Thank you. We have another question. I'm from Iran and I'm really eager to continue my education in CPE. I want to know if there are any scholarships that will help me cover the tuition fee and the cost of living there. I will be accepted for the course. Unfortunately, as of this year, we cannot provide scholarships anymore. So we do not have scholarships available, unfortunately, to help you to cover the tuition fee and the living costs. There is, however, a Holland scholarship available for first-year students applying for. All that information is also included on our website, but that does not cover all costs, so that would be good to know up front. But if you have also personal questions, of course, feel free to contact Floor, but there are no full scholarships available. Sorry, yes. From the information I read on the web, to be eligible for Erik Bleuming funds, I should submit my application by 1st of December. Is that right? Yes. Yes, that is right. So Erik Bleuming fund, that is a fund indeed from the university. That is one of the scholarships that are available, but that is university broad, so not specifically for our research master. You can apply indeed by the 1st of December. During December, it's also possible to still apply. So if your application is not fully there yet by the 1st of December, that's fine, as long as it's finalized before the end of December. Good to know is that you cannot apply yourself for the Erik Bleuming fund. So the admissions office will select students that fulfill all the criteria for the Erik Bleuming fund. So you can, of course, try. We have been successful in previous years, so please do, indeed. But Manu, thank you. The information is also now here in the room chat. But the admissions office will select the applicants that are have good chances to get this Erik Bleuming fund. Yes, you're welcome. Are there any more questions for now? If not, then I would like to wrap up. If there are any more questions, we can still continue. We will stay in this room for a little bit longer. But as mentioned, feel free to contact us on a more personal level. Contact our study advisor, Floor, for more personal related questions. We will guide you along the way, so contact us and we'll help you through. And indeed, thank you, the meet and greet. Feel free to already book a spot and contact our students so that they can also help you in deciding which master program fits best with your interests, and if we are one of them. So looking forward to hearing more from you. Thank you for attending. Thank you all speakers for presenting. And looking forward to meeting you on the 6th of December or seeing your application, of course. And good luck.